Today we're going to be looking at this math problem. This math problem basically asks, what is sine 120 degrees? Now to solve this math problem, all we really need to do is use our unit circle and break up the 120 degrees. But first, to proceed with this equation, we need to write the word sine, as we always do. So sine 90 degrees. Now, if you know geometry, 90 degrees represents 1 quadrant of a circle. So, 90 degrees times 1. Now, this 1 may seem unnecessary for now, but this will be useful for us if we're going to break, because we're going to have to change the trigonometric function. So 90 degrees times 1 plus 30. Now this value right here, 90 times 1 plus 30, equals 120 degrees. But to proceed with the equation, we need to make it so that there's, instead of the 90 times 1, there's only the 30. So we need to cancel out the 90. But to do that, we need another 90. But we don't have another 90. So the one way to solve this is by changing the sign to a cos. So now our question would be, what is cos 30 degrees? If we look at our special right triangle, specifically our 30, 60 degree, and 90 triangle, we see that the side adjacent to the 30 degree triangle is x times the square root of 3. And the hypotenuse is 2x. So our answer would be x times the square root of 3 over 2x. But we can simplify this further. So the answer of the square root of 3 over 2. But now we might need to change this answer later when we look at the unit circle. But let's not worry about that right now. Now let's move on to the cos. So cos cos 90 times 2 plus 30. Okay, so 90 times 2 plus 30 equals the 210. But now we need to cancel out the 180 degrees. But that's easy because there are already two 90s. So they both cancel out. So now the question is, what is cos 30? Which, as we know from the problem before, is the square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so now we know both of them. But we're not done yet, because now we have to look at the unit circle. So if we look at the unit circle, we can basically look at this as a graph. So the line that is horizontal is basically, if you think about it, cos. And the center of the circle, also known as the origin, is basically known as 0, 0. The vertical line is sine. So if we really think about it, this is basically just a graph. The reason they call it a unit circle is because one side is, basically every side is just a unit. So now, we basically draw, actually we don't draw, we just do do a 120-degree angle. So while this might not be an accurate 120-degree angle, let's just say that this is a 120-degree angle. So now that we'll just say that it is a 120-degree angle. But now you may be wondering, how is this related to trigonometry? Well, now if we do a horizontal line down, we can see that a triangle comes to appear. And if we look at that triangle, that is the special right triangle. So now you know how this is related. But now, as I said before, the top answer of sine 120 degrees equaling the square root of 3 over 2 might not be correct. But it actually is. Because this is a unit circle and kind of works as a graph. So, sine being the y value is, in this case, positive. So we can just leave our answer as it is. Okay. So now we look at the 210-degree angle. So let's just say that this is a 210-degree angle. Now we make the triangle. Okay, now we see the triangle forming. As we see the triangle forming, we can say that this is another triangle. But now, here comes the tricky part. The cos value here is negative. Because remember, think about cos as the x-axis. So, cos in this case would be negative. So for cos 210, it isn't actually the square root of 3 over 2. It's actually negative square root of 3 over 2. And that's the answer for cos 210. And the square root of 3 over 2 is the answer for sine 120 degrees. Thank you for listening.